Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
Hello agents, welcome to episode 94 of the Ingress Insights podcast. In this week's episode, we're looking at the Plus Theta Global Op, which is still ongoing, and also looking at the skirmish locations that have recently been announced. And we'll also be discussing the Ingress rewards that have been sent for the recent Global Wayfarer challenge, which may be our last one for Ingress with the map splitting off, and talk about that a bit more. In terms of general podcast news, before I get into the main news, I do have a new microphone. So May is my birth month. I've managed to convince my wife to get me a new microphone for the podcast. So hopefully it sounds better. You can let me know one way or the other. Secondly, for the podcast, in this week's episode and the following week's episode, I do have a sponsor. So you'll hear an advert shortly after all the Ingress news before the Wayfarer news. So do check that out and obviously follow the link and then purchase the XP Brew tea. That would help me out personally for the podcast and enable me to buy better equipment too. So now I've got all the main kind of podcast news out the way, I'll move into the Plus Theta news first of all.
This is Shimon, former community manager for the Witcher Monster Slayer, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
For Plus Theta, the Global Op is still ongoing, as mentioned, until the 11th of May. As I'm recording this on the 2nd of May, the current status is that it's 49.54% to Enlightened, with resistance just in the lead at 50.46%. I've done 26 tests so far. I've got 2 more to go on the final round, so I'm on the 4th round myself. I just need to capture 125 portals. I've captured 81. I need to hack 200 portal keys. I've hacked 128. So I haven't got much to go on there. I can easily do that in 9 days. I could claim the reward now and finish up, but I want the extra 200 plus Theta tokens that I'll get from those 2 tasks. I am on silver for my plus Theta medal, so I've got 4,280 points. So 6,000 for gold seems pretty easy in reach with doing all the daily tasks. Of course, one of the ways you can get more plus Theta tokens and more plus Theta points is by attending a skirmish, and some of those have been announced for the EMEA region. Those are happening on May the 24th, so I'll run through those next. I will start with my usual apology if I get any of these placings wrong. Do feel free to correct me in the comments or message me and let me know. So for shard skirmishes, we've got one in Lahti in Finland, Istanbul in Turkey, Uppsala in Sweden, Drammen in Norway, Randers in Denmark, Belgrade in Serbia, Orleans in France, Glasgow in Scotland, Cardiff, Wales, Braga, Portugal. And then there's 3 beacon skirmishes happening as well. And they're in Tartu, Estonia, Lublin, Poland, and Palma de Mallorca in Spain. I definitely got that wrong because I stumbled over that word at the end. As mentioned, those are all happening on May the 24th, 2025. And I'll get into a bit more detail about the skirmishes as we get closer to that date, just as a reminder on what will be happening at those. We do have the other skirmishes happening in the AMER and APAC regions. Those will be coming out on May the 21st. So we'll have the full list shortly before that actually kicks off on there for the EMEA region. That's about all for the Plus Theta news for now. So what I'll do next, as usual, is move into general Ingress news. We do have a bit of somber news to start things off.
Hey, this is Sim, Global Product Marketing Lead for Peridot, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
If you've ever searched for any other Ingress podcasts, you'll have come across Agent Academy. It's no longer an active podcast, but it has a whole host of episodes, almost 100 episodes available. I've got lots of great stuff talking with Andrew Krug, the previous community manager at Niantic. They shared some somber news on the 2nd of May to say the agent Goonie guy has unfortunately passed away. So I'll just read out the words that are from Dewey J there in the channel, and then I'll share a link to it. He wrote, "A memorial for a good frog. I just learned of the passing of Brent Copeland, Agent Goonie Guy. Goonie was a fellow podcaster on Agent Academy and The Distant Friend. The last time I saw Goonie was when he drove from his home in Huntsville, Alabama to Effingham to attend the January 4th, 2020 first Saturday in Effingham. If you were playing in early December of 2018, you would have been covered by 2 million MU bath by Goonies Frog Buddies. Cycle 2018 2018 4-6. We won that cycle, by the way. He will be missed. So sad news to share, but I want to share it. And then I'm sure the Agent Academy folks will ask for Beacon to go up at a certain time for Goonie Guy. But I'll share the link to their channel. You can see any updates there. Next, I want to mention that some agents have been having issues with the core subscription. This is suspected to be from the change of it being a subscription to Niantic Spatial instead. Most agents are now reporting it seems to be resolved, but if you are having issues, what you can do is unsubscribe from it and then resubscribe straight away. You won't be charged twice, but it should fix the issue there that you actually get to keep your inventory, you'll get your loadout and things like that, because people were saying it wasn't showing as active, wasn't giving them their monthly loadout. I don't get how it's caused this issue, but it has caused an issue. So if you're having problems, easiest thing is unsubscribe, resubscribe, and you should get everything there. This weekend has brought a few events that are coming up or already happened. So we've had first Saturday happen on the 3rd of May, which has already happened. This is this podcast. And then next weekend brings us second Sunday as well. So I've got my scans almost saved up for that. I think I've got my scans till I get to gold at the moment for second Sunday. If no one basically interrupts. I know a few agents have been looking at the error I've been doing scans, so I'm hoping they don't overscan me, if that makes sense. But I'm feeling pretty prepped for second Sunday. I will cover that in. I did have a bonus episode that got released recently that covers what second Sunday is, in case you want that little snippet on there, just to show someone what second Sunday is and explain it in an audio format. It's very handy. And I've just got one final Ingress and podcast announcement next. Hopefully, you'll remember that a few months ago I mentioned I would be interviewing Erin Fitzgerald, who played Carrie Campbell at Ingress's live events. I did that interview a few months back. I've now found time to edit it, and Erin's happy with it. So that interview will get posted on the Ingress Insights feed on the 7th of May. So that'll be a Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. UK time. So you can listen to it there. Obviously, appreciate any feedback and sharing the episode because it helps me get more guests on for Ingress and other games as well. So yes, 7th of May. Do please listen to the interview with Erin. It was a fun thing to do. Had a great time going through everything and finding a bit more about how her world worked as an actor, as someone providing voices, things like that. That's about all I've got for Ingress related news. As I mentioned, there will be an ad break next, and then I'll move into Wayfarer news. Hey agents, for today's episode, we have a sponsor that I want to talk about. I'm going to tell you about a fancy new tea I've tried called XP Brew. XP Brew is clean energy tea intended for long gaming sessions. So whether you're going out and getting your plus data bounties done or just chilling on the sofa with your Switch or PlayStation, this tea gives you a nice good energy kick without the crash of energy drinks. All you need to do is boil your kettle, put the tea powder in your favourite mug with the boiling water and give it a stir. I do want to highlight one flavour this week, which is my favourite one, which is dark choc cherry. And that you can either get by itself or in the Mano Mix pack, which gives you 2 separate packs of each flavour if you want to try them all out. What I say next about the flavour might sound really negative, but is a positive. So for me, I think it smells and tastes like hot Dr. Pepper, which is quite delicious, strangely. You can see all the ingredients for it on the website, which I'll link to in the show notes. You can see there's nothing nefarious in there. It's just clean energy stuff, vitamins, all the good stuff. So do check it out at XP Brew and see the other flavors they've got available as well, like the spicy passion one, which is quite nice too. And then let me know what you think if you do try it. I'd be interested to hear. Thanks again to XP Brew for the sponsorship. For Wayfarer news this week, the Global Challenge finished previously, as we mentioned, and Niantic TTNO has confirmed that all the rewards have now been sent. This includes an OPR live tick if you reviewed at least 400 things as an individual. When you go to redeem it on the Intel map, you won't see it say OPR live, it will just say the kinetic capsules, but it does apply it to your badge. So my OPR live is now on 4, so I've got another 2 to get it to gold. Hopefully we get some Wayfarer challenges or whatever Ingress's new system ends up being called, challenges in that contribute towards the badge. As I mentioned, all the rewards have been sent. You do have until the 31st of May to redeem them. I'll do a reminder as we get close to that time, just in case you're holding on to them for whatever reason, waiting until there's an anomaly, skirmish, something like that you need all the inventory for. We don't have any further information yet on when the maps will be splitting off, when Ingress will have its own map and Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, and Pikmin will have their own map. It was mentioned in Tintino's announcement it'd be over the coming months, so I don't think it'll be anytime soon. I'd also hope that we don't have time without nominations being available for a long time, and that the new system launches pretty much as soon as the old system closes. At the minute, I'm still nominating some things that will go on as portals via Pokemon Go. I mentioned that in a previous bonus episode, how to do that and what you might see a bit differently in the interface. But there's not a whole lot going on with Wayfarer now. I suspect there won't be until Scopely fully take over. I don't think we'll get another challenge or anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see what does happen with Wayfarer going forward. And I'll keep covering on here until we move on to Ingress's new system. That's all from me for this week, though, folks. A bit shorter. There wasn't too much news. So I'll move on now and get things wrapped up.
Hi, this is HP Rulola, and you're listening to the Ingress Insights podcast.
Thank you, agents, for listening to this week's episode. Next week, we'll be looking at Second Sunday, because that will be happening on the 11th of May. And we'll also be close to the XM anomalies in the Philippines and the US. So I will cover what's happening at those anomalies in a bit more detail. As mentioned a couple of times, the interview with Erin is coming out on the 7th of May, so do please listen to that. I'd also appreciate any feedback you have about the new equipment, whether it's better, worse, about the same. Please do also check out XP Brew from the links in the show notes. You can see all of their merchandise and all their various teas. I'm going to have a spicy passion power up one in a moment. I'm not quite sure if I like that one, but I'll try it a couple more times and see. I'm sure we'll get various Ingress news. We'll probably do another app update soon as well. So I'll cover anything that happens Ingress related, Anomaly related, or Wayfarer related on the next episode. Hope you all listen then. Hope you have a great Sunday and happy hacking, agents. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do that on a few channels. So on Threads under the name ingress.insights, on Instagram under the name ingress.insights as well. Twitter/X, which posts episodes of the podcast, is under Ingress Insights, no dot in that one. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube under Ingress Insights Podcast. You can send us a voice message by visiting the podcaster's Spotify page. And finally, you can buy Ingress Insights merch, such as mugs, pins, t-shirts, by going to epublic.com/user/ingress-insights. And on there, you'll see all the designs that we've got listed at the moment. There are some new ones that will be coming up at some point soon. But you can buy your Ingress Insights mug, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, anything like that you want. Thank you again for listening. Hope you tune in next week. If you do like the show, please do rate it on the podcast service you're listening to. I look forward to speaking with you all about Ingress again.
Intel package transferred.